And now we are live. Hi, hello, magandang tanghali. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome back to another session of Career Talk Thursdays. I'm Roan and I'll be your host for today. So this is our seventh session and this afternoon, we'll be talking about how to write a fresh grad or internship CV that will stand out. So malalaman natin today kung paano ba magiging agaw pansin yung i-prepare natin na CV for our entry-level jobs and internships. And paano magiging successful yung job application natin. 'Di ba? Yun yung unang susi para mapansin tayo, 'di ba? Yung CV natin na isa-submit sa recruitment. So, before we start, I want to let everyone know that this event is hosted by Prospel Philippines. So, ano nga ba si Prospel? Prospel is a career portal and jobs board designed specifically created for students and fresh graduates. We help you get the best start to your careers by providing you all the information, day in the life articles, career events, and jobs that are for you. So, samahan nyo kaming magkwentuhan. And if you have any questions, huwag kayong mahihiyang magtanong at ilagay nyo lang yan sa comment section natin. At sasagutin natin yan, especially yung guest speaker natin for later. So ayan, before we begin, let me introduce our guest speaker for this session. As the recruitment marketing lead, Mr. Longcop develops and implements recruitment marketing strategies and manages a team of recruitment marketing associates, sourcing specialists and content creators, university partnership programs, and candidate pipelining of Manila TDC. Mr. Longcop works hand in hand with the IRPO team and ensures that Korn Ferry brand is responsibly, creatively, and competitively represented not just to candidates but also potential clients. Through his effective and efficient management and creative marketing campaigns, he was able to establish the presence of Korn Ferry Manila on major social media platforms, ensures the delivery of strong potential candidate pipelines, and was able to help build a team of skilled and talented colleagues who creates rather social media and marketing content daily. Before joining Korn Ferry in 2019, Mr. Longcop worked for a leading executive search firm as a sourcing specialist and recruitment coordinator. He also worked as recruitment associate for the leading RPO, BPO, and ESL companies in the Philippines and APAC. For over 5 years, his career focused not just on recruitment, but also in the areas of visual art, videography, and social media marketing. Mr. Longkok earned his bachelor's degree in business administration, major in human resources development management from the Polytechnic University of the Philippines. So let's all welcome Roden Longcop. Ayan. Hi, Mr. Roden. Kumusta po tayo today?
Hi, thank you, Roan. Ayan, parang kakagising ko lang, but I am alive. I feel alive right now, and I'm very excited to talk about a very special and important topic for our students today.
Mm. And sobrang importante nito kasi nung fresh grad talaga ako, hindi ko alam kung saan ako magsisimula eh. Parang ang alam ko lang ilagay name ko. Ganon. So ngayon,
Totoo, Roan. I'm a graduate of human resource, no? Pero hindi pa ako ganun ka-confident when it comes to writing resume when I graduated. So, mas swerte yung mga students natin who are watching today because they'll be guided and they'll be given tips on how to write, a successful resume.
so ayan, medyo dumadami na yung nasa live natin. Meron tayong 7,500 sarot. So meron tayong almost 100 viewers for today. So ready ka na ba to
Hello.
present?
Yes. Okay.
I'll give the floor to you now.
Thank you, Roan. Okay, so to all the students and fresh graduates, good morning. You can call me Den, by the way. So while we are presenting, you may type in your questions in our comment box. Okay, all right. So before we begin, let me just give you an outline of what we are going to discuss today. So first, we will be defining a resume, what a resume is. Second, you'll know what should you include in a resume. And the most important topic that we have for today are the 10 tips in writing a resume for students and recent graduates. Okay, let's begin. So, resume is actually a French word which means summary. So, it's actually yung definition ng resume no is the word itself summary. So, dapat maikli lang yung resume natin. Okay, so you don't have to 1 to 2 pages is okay. So that's the most important. Resume is a formal document. Okay, so later on we'll discuss what a good resume looks like. Okay, so usually it is paired with a letter. So it helps you demonstrate your abilities and convince employers that you are qualified for the job that you are applying for. Okay, so that's what a resume is. Now, what are the parts of a resume or what you should be including in a resume? First is your name. That is the most important. Usually, when you're writing a resume, your name should be the biggest font there. Okay. You may include your preferred gender pronoun. So, yung modern resume writing tip na mabibigay ko sa inyo is you should be including your preferred gender pronoun. Um, Preferred gender pronouns, for those who are not familiar of this, is the set of pronouns that an individual wants others to use in order to reflect that person's gender identity. This will also help the recruiters, address you properly. Okay. All right. So that's for the name. Usually we can just put first name and then last name. Yung middle name naman, it's not a requirement. So usually it's just a first name and then the last name. Okay, so that's for the name. Second part is one of the most important as well is your contact details. Okay. Of course, you already know that you have to put your contact number. You also have to put your home address. But remember that you're not required to put the exact address, like the house number. You can just put let's say here in the Philippines, you can just put the barangay and then the city. Okay, it's for the recruitment to know where you're currently residing. All right. Also, please don't forget to put your email address. It should be active. Later on, I'll be giving tips as well on about the email address, okay, and the LinkedIn profile or the LinkedIn link. So LinkedIn link and email address should be hyperlinked. Okay, it is for the recruiter to easily send email and visit your LinkedIn profile. Okay, so that is for the contact details. Third, if you are a fresh graduate or a student who's looking for an internship, educational background part of your resume is very important. So remember to just include the most important details. Remember that having a thorough education section is essential for any recent college graduates or those students looking for internships. So we have an example here. So we have the degree, the institute or the name of school, your expected graduation date, that is important, and of course the honors and awards that you have received. If you already have the GPA, you can put it there as well. Okay, so that's for the educational background. Fourth is the internship details. So this is for those recent graduates only or those who are done with their internships already. You may include, usually, kasi when it comes to internship details, we tend to focus on putting a long list of tasks and let's say duties and responsibilities. So what I can suggest is actually to put your accomplishments. So as you can see here in our examples, in our example, the candidate focused on the accomplishments. So example number 1, he designed and created a process map for fellow interns in the talent acquisition department. So second, he facilitated and organized a summer employee engagement activity with the HR department. And third, he was involved in sourcing and interviewing candidates for entry-level roles. So yung focus niya is yung accomplishments. And at the same time, this candidate is giving, is already giving also the tasks na nagawa niya during his or her internship. Okay? So yun. So that's how you create a summary for your internship details. And of course, you have to put it in bullet point. Okay. Most important parts of this segment is also the position title, the company, the location of the office, and then yung duration ng internship mo. All right. So that's for the internship details. Now for professional affiliations. I believe everyone naman has a professional affiliations during college. So affiliations or memberships are professional groups that you've joined or who otherwise include you in their rosters. So these groups can be large organizations or small groups related to your industry. So here, in our example, the candidate is a president of a JPMO. So this is an organization na relevant doon din sa degree niya. He is also a secretary of Human Resource Students Organization. So you can put those affiliations there. And if you are an officer or kahit member ng organization, you should also put that there. And of course, yung duration. That's important. Okay, so that's for the professional affiliations. Remember that you can, just a reminder, you can put your questions now sa comment box natin. So that later on after our presentation, we can go through all of your questions and answer it. Okay, let's proceed to the sixth part. We have the extracurricular engagements. So you can just include your top 3 to 5 extra academic activities. Okay, you do not have to include all the seminars and training sessions that you attended, especially those trainings and seminars na hindi relevant to the job that you're currently applying for. So we have to choose our top 3 to 5. So we have the example here as well. Okay. This will be the last part of the resume. It's the additional skills. So as a recent graduate or as a student, you don't need formal work experience of a strong resume skills section. Kasi minsan, nape-pressure tayo to put this part on our resume. Kasi iniisip natin, we don't have the work experience yet, right? So as a student or as a fresh graduate, you can just review your coursework, internship, extracurricular activities. And then you'll be able to discover that you've accumulated an array of marketable skills already. So dito sa example natin, he included in-depth knowledge of Boolean sourcing techniques. So this is for those who are currently taking HR course. Adept with Microsoft Office Suite. And then third, the candidate is familiar with the sourcing channels and platforms and applicant tracking systems. Okay, so yeah, it's short. And what's important is that he included the skills that is relevant to the job that is eyeing for. Okay, so those are the parts of the resume. Okay, so we have 5. Now, we will go to the main topic for today. I'll be sharing with you 10 tips in writing a resume for students and recent graduates. So the tips that I'll be sharing with you are coming from our authors, award-winning authors in Korn Ferry, in Korn Ferry Institute. So I've merged a lot of articles for me to be able to give you the best tips, modern tips that you can use in writing your resume. So first tip, this is very important. Skip the fancy formatting. So of course, unless you're applying for a job as a graphic designer, okay, remember to not put your resume together in a program other than Word or Pages. Okay, may mga candidates kasi na they're submitting their resume in a photo format. So, and then you'll see na meron pang links doon, pero you can't click the link na or the hyperlink. It's because the resume is in photo format. So it is very important that you'll be, ako, as a recruiter, I suggest you use a PDF format. That way your resume won't be edited. But at the same time, the links can still be clicked. Okay. Um, so yeah, PDF format is important. And remember that resumes created in programs like InDesign sometimes don't get picked up by the ATS. Modern na yung recruitment technology na that we are using. And companies nowadays are using applicant tracking systems. So if there's an option to upload both document and PDF formats, do so. Kasi hindi masa-search yung resume mo or yung keywords that you included in your resume if you're using, an inappropriate format of document. So also remember that career experts say that including your photo is not a requirement. Okay, why is that? Because actually a lot of students right now are still including their photos, no, sa resume. um, Remember that what you look like should never be a factor in the company's decision to pick up your resume or not, especially that this is the very first step of the application process. So don't introduce your appearance into the process at this point. Okay? Kasi they'll have a chance naman to meet you during the face-to-face interview, or even if it's just a video interview, they'll still see you, but not on the very beginning of the process. Okay? They'll be able to see you once they've reviewed your profile. So, of course, it's your background first before your appearance. That is the most important. Now, when it comes to fonts, best fonts actually are Times New Roman or Arial. Kasi yun yung pinaka-basic eh. And it's the most readable then. Okay? And when it comes to colors, preferably not more than 3 colors. Okay? Don't make it too colorful. Right? So make it readable, make it simple. Okay. Next, we have to check consistency of punctuation. So if you're going to use a period after a bullet point, make sure there is a period after every bullet point. That Williams says. If you're using dashes, make sure they're uniform. Okay. So according to Ryan Freshet, a Korn Ferry advanced career coach, he said almost every resume I see will have the dashes of varying sizes between dates. Okay, see? So, make sure na kung naka-bold siya, dapat lahat ng susunod naka-bold din. So, you have to be very consistent. Sa font, sa size, sa color, not just the punctuation. Okay? So, we'll discuss later on how to review that as well. Okay, so that's the second tip. Third tip, I've discussed this partially earlier. We have to hyperlink our LinkedIn profile. Especially here in the Philippines, I think most of the employees and even the students have LinkedIn profile already. The header on your resume should include your email address, your phone number, and a hyperlink to your LinkedIn profile. According to Freshet as well from Korn Ferry Advance, your LinkedIn profile establishes trust because a recruiter can click on it and verify the information in your resume. So make sure then that your LinkedIn profile is synced with your resume. So whatever details you put on your resume should be the same with what what you have on LinkedIn. Okay, so just make sure the URL for your LinkedIn profile includes your name, not a list of number and letters. Okay, there is actually a setting on LinkedIn wherein you can modify your LinkedIn link. Okay, so you can just later on I can teach you how to do that. Okay. So that's for the LinkedIn link. Fourth tip is to use appropriate file name and email address. Ito actually dapat kailalagay ko to sa medyo unahan, no, kasi very important to. We have a lot, like more than 50% of um hindi lang yung fresh graduates or students, no, there are experienced professionals who are doing this. Yung file name nila, minsan resume 1, 2, 3, 4, something like that. So make sure na yung file name ng resume mo is your name and then put resume or CV. Okay? And pinaka-importante din is yung email address. The email address should not be like Pretty Marie 1, 2, 3, 4 or Juan de la Cruz 1, 4, you know, um, numbers or any nickname. Make it your, if as much as possible, full name sana yung nasa email address natin. So make it formal. Okay. So yan, I believe mga recruiters natin can relate on this one. Okay, so that's for the fourth one. Remember, your email address should use your first and last name, so not slang or jargon. It is also best to avoid using a Yahoo or AOL email address because the recruiter might assume you're not using modern technology. Yeah, according to our coach from Korn Ferry Advance. So once your resume has been carefully proofread, make a PDF of the file before sending it out. Okay. All right. So that's for the fourth tip. Now we'll proceed to the fifth one. We have to rethink the one-page resume. So some of you might already know this, that you are encouraged to do a one-page resume if you are a fresh graduate. But according to recent study, hindi na siya yung trend sa ngayon. Okay? Why? It's because if you can fit your narrative on one page without omitting relevant information, that is fine. If not, don't sacrifice details about the results you've delivered just to take up less real estate, especially if you've been in the workforce for a while. Okay? So, as a student or fresh graduate kasi, we don't have, wala pa naman tayong work experience. So there are times talaga okay na yung one page, right? But if you have a lot of extracurricular activities, you have a lot of accomplishments during your college years, no? It's okay to go for a two-page resume. That's fine. Okay, as long as you're just including the most important details there, as we have discussed earlier as well. Okay, so that's for the fifth tip. Now, sixth, cut the fluff. Okay, if you are up against tough competition for the same role, it can be tempting to exaggerate your skills or experience to get ahead. But that game never pays off. Okay, especially now that, for example, I believe you are all currently looking for a job already, and the competition is tough because it's graduation season, you know. So remember, one of our coaches in Korn Ferry Advance says that stick to the facts and you'll avoid feeling guilty, tripping up during an interview, or getting fired for deceiving an employer about your credentials. So be honest. Just include the correct and true information in your resume, right? So that's for our sixth tip. Okay, we'll go now to the seventh. We only have 4 tips left. If you have any questions, please don't forget to type in your questions or a comment box. Okay, next, show your excitement. This is very important. Once you apply for a job, you have to make the recruiter feel that you are excited to join the organization, that you are excited to learn more about the role. Okay, so whenever possible throughout the application process, show that you're enthusiastic about the opportunity. Though cover letters are getting outdated, attach one if the application asks for it. Okay, so um, according to Anderson, one of our coaches from Korn Ferry Advance as well, as a recruiter, if the applicant took that extra step, I'd assume they cared more. Okay. So later on, I'll give you another tip on how to do this one as well. Okay. Next. Okay. I believe maybe around 80% or more than that is still doing this, writing an objective in your resume. So now I'm telling you, team, that objective is not necessary for an entry level resume. Okay, it's obvious. Your objective will always be to be hired for the role that you are applying for. So writing an objective and putting it on top of your resume is a waste of time. Okay, because the recruiters already know what your objective is. Okay, now is writing a summary okay? Um, for a fresh graduate or entry level resume, it's not necessary yet. But for those who are already experienced, you are encouraged to write a summary on top of your resume. Okay, but now we're focusing on the entry level resume, so objective and summary is not necessary. Okay, so in general, an objective distracts the hiring manager from focusing on what benefits you can bring to the table. It can also make you seem this can also ruin your chances of being hired or being considered for the role, because a hiring manager will assume they may be too different from your stated objective. Okay. Another thing, may sisingit lang natin dito sa tip na to, is that there's another old school formality to abandon, the references available upon request. Okay, if you can put the references on your resume, then don't put the sentence at all. Remember, there is a pre-employment screening process in every application process, and that is the chance for you to send your the details of your references. Right. So that is for our eighth tip. Now for the ninth, change your resume with every job you apply for. Um, may colleague ako during my first job, um, pinagmamayabang niya na he only changed his resume once in his entire career, and that's when he graduated college. So, and then nag-a-add lang siya ng uh, additional work experience slot there. No, um, that's not the best practice when it comes to resume. Actually, um, one of our coaches from Korn Ferry Advance says that you have to change your resume with every job you apply for. It has to be tailored to the company and the role that you're applying for. So many people assume that a good resume can be sent out on autopilot. Experts caution against this way of thinking. So resumes need to be customized per job opportunity. Okay. Indeed, while your job experience itself will not change, the words you use throughout your resume, the skills you highlight, and the way you craft your summary will change. Okay. Remember that our recruiters are very high tech now. They're using ATS. They are using different tools to search for your profile online. So you have to change the keyword. So depending on the job that you're applying for, and let's say, for example, you're eyeing for a job in a certain company and you are planning to apply, make sure that you will be including some of the important keywords mentioned in the job description and put it in your resume or in your cover letter. So that means, in short, you have to create a resume per company that you're applying for. Okay, so that's for the ninth tip. Now, before we go to our last tip, I just would like to remind everyone to type in your questions in our comment section. Okay. All right. Spell check and proofread. This is very, very important. If you can proofread your resume more than 3 times, that's the best practice you can do starting now. Okay, so as recruiters, we're not joking when we say that a single spelling mistake can be enough to exclude your resume. Okay, while a person may be able to figure out the misspelled word, an ATS will not be able to recognize a misspelling, and your resume may be eliminated from the process. Okay, spell check doesn't catch all errors, so make sure you check, recheck, and have someone else check your resume before you submit it. Okay, so after proofreading your resume, you can actually ask a friend to review your resume, check if there are errors, misspellings there, to make sure that before you submit your resume, it's all good. Okay, so that's for our last tip. Now, this is the sample resume for students and recent graduates. So earlier in this session, we've discussed the parts of the resume. So let's just have a recap on that. On the top, of course, you have to put your name, and then you can include your preferred gender pronouns. We have next are the contact details. Third is your educational background. Fourth is your internship details if you are already done with your internship. And then professional affiliations, followed by extracurricular engagements, and then the additional skills that you have. So as you can notice, we've used just three colors. And the two colors here are on the same spectrum. It's two shades of blue. Okay, so you don't have to put a lot of colors. You don't have to use fancy fonts in creating your resume. Okay, so that's for the example. Now, the good news is at Korn Ferry, we have what we call Korn Ferry Advance. Okay, so as a fresh graduate, you can actually use the site. Yeah, we have here the QR code, so you have to scan it and then visit our website. You can sign up for free. Okay, your remember that your resume should be designed with the box in mind, right? That's what we have discussed earlier. So register for advance, upload your resume, and our technology will show you exactly how the bots read your resume. And then you will also receive some tips, okay? So after this session, visit our Korn Ferry Advanced website, scan this QR code now, and then upload your resume there. And then our system will give you feedback, will review your resume. Again, this is for free. But of course, you can upgrade your account if you would like to meet coaches, have your personal coaches, and visit more of our articles, receive more articles from KF Advance. Okay, so that's optional. Okay, so yeah, that's it. That's what you can do after this session. Also, I would like to remind everyone that we are still hiring for fresh graduates. We have a lot of opportunities, and actually, every 2 months we have this training. We have this Kickstart program. So if you are ready to get hands-on and start making a difference, if you're ready to be more than with Korn Ferry, and if you want to work with experts to get the best out of people, this is the best time for you to apply for Korn Ferry. Okay, just a reminder, students and fresh graduates, when you're making the first move in your professional life, there's no better place to start than our early career development program. Okay, after an extensive training with our global trainers here in Korn Ferry, we offer you a placement where you can put what you have learned into practice anywhere in the world. You'll be supporting stakeholders outside Philippines. You'll be working with stakeholders globally. So you can be ready to move when the time comes. Okay, so that's what we can offer you. So all you have to do is scan the QR code that you can see on the screen to check out, more articles about Korn Ferry, list of job opportunities that we have, And then you can also message us for questions. Okay. All right. Now, Roan, I think we're ready for the Q&A session if we have any questions.
Okay. Hello? Can you hear me? Hello? Okay.
Yes,
Okay,
yes,
okay.
I can hear you now, Roan.
Nandito na tayo ngayon sa Q&A section. And ayan, meron tayong mga questions dito. Pero ito talaga yung tanong ng bayan eh. Pati ako nalilito ako dito eh. What's the difference between CV and resume? Kasi
Okay.
nalilito din talaga ako personally.
Okay. The correct term, actually, if we're talking about entry level professional documents, it should be a resume. Yung curriculum vitae kasi it's a longer type of it's a longer version of resume rather. So yung curriculum vitae mas detailed siya. So yung work experience niya, himay niya lahat ng mga duties and responsibilities, projects. There are sample projects. So usually curriculum vitae is around 5, 10 pages. So these are for for those very experienced professionals. So the correct term actually that we can use for now is resume, especially that you are just young professionals.
So, bale parang mas summary talaga yung resume.
Yes, that is correct, Ron.
And mas applicable siya for fresh grads since starting pa lang sila. So, parang
Yes.
So, in line with that, ulitin lang natin yung tanong dito, na required po ba lagyan ng picture ang resume?
No. Actually, as a recruiter, I do not recommend our students to use their photo or put their photo on their resume. Again, just a reminder, no, gusto natin yung recruiters na makita muna yung, yung background natin, the skills that we have. That's the most important. We don't want them to judge you based on your appearance, even before your first interview. Kasi they'll have the chance to meet you naman during your interview.
So, kung ang CV ay mas comprehensive, okay lang ba na may picture yon?
Actually, for the curriculum vitae, hindi rin siya nare-require actually yung photo, Roan. If the recruiter would really like to see your photo, they can actually just go to your LinkedIn profile.
So,
Yeah.
importante talaga yung personal branding natin sa
Yes.
social media.
Yes.
So, kasi actually, 'di ba, yung mga makukuha nating template, like kunwari sa Canva, ganun, as in yung template nila halos lahat may mga photos. So, siguro
Yes. Oo.
confusion ng mga audience natin ngayon. So, dito isa sa question, we put the GPA from the recent semester.
Yes, if you're looking for an internship, yes, I recommend you to put your recent GPA. Yeah, pero let me remind everyone as well na hindi ito yung top factor, no, when deciding if you'll be eligible for a role or not. Okay, your skills, your interview result will always be the top factor.
Dito naman yung question, sa education background daw, so from high school to college ba raw yung ilalagay? Or from elementary pa? Ano yung ideal nila? Baka pati
Good
preschool yan.
question, Roan. Meron akong candidates before actually na even the kindergarten and even the name of the teacher is there. Well, it's good na may record pa siya na nakikip niya yung records niya. But hindi na siya necessary actually for your resume. So I think no need to include your high school details there. So you could just put your recent institution kung nasan ka. Yeah.
Dito naman, dito nakakalito rin eh, if paano yung chronological order ng experience, work experience, and educational attainment, kung yung most recent ba or yung pinaka nauna ba sa na experience mo ilalagay? So,
Hmm.
paano ba yung arrangement sa
Okay. For these two segments raw yung sa work experience and then sa educational attainment, it's very important to put the most recent on top. Okay, so mag-start tayo sa most recent. Tapos yung mga susunod yung mga previous na. Yes.
So, dito naman yung question, paano daw ilalagay yung work immersion experience from senior high school? Okay lang ba daw na ilagay kahit week-long lang yung naging immersion?
Yes, yes. Even if it's just week long, I kasi I think this is very relevant din dun sa if it's internship or job that you're applying for. So you have to put it there as well. Yes.
Ito, sabi niya na, I would like to ask what if I was not active during my college? Doesn't that mean that I don't have an edge?
Mm. Well, if you're not active with extracurricular activities, it's okay actually. Okay. Maybe you're just too shy to or maybe you're just too focused on your academics. No, but that doesn't mean na wala ka ng chance to excel or ace an interview. Okay, it still depends on how you present yourself, how you answer your questions during the interview. That's the most important.
So, in line doon, ano yung mga
Hmm.
puwedeng alternative na puwedeng ilagay? For example, para sa mga fresh grad na wala pang masyadong experience, ano yung, sa point of view ng isang recruitment lead, ano yung alternative na puwedeng ilagay sa CV or resume?
Yes. So if you don't have any experience yet and then wala ka ding internship, I believe there are organizational activities that you had in college, right? So meron namang kanya-kanyang organizations yung course ninyo. And there are activities. Let's say for example, nag-design ka ng stage for an event or naging usher ka for an event. You can include the things that you've learned. Kung naging usher ka, you've learned to communicate with different people. You've learned how to organize like a database, something like that. So you have to find a skill that you've acquired through that experience.
So, kahit yung mga small project na, mga racket
Mm.
gano'n na kunwari meron ka
Yes.
nakuha sa Upwork na,
Mm.
project for graphic design, ganyan, puwedeng
Yes.
ilagay yun.
Yes, yes, Roan. Just make sure lang na yung ilalagay mong yung mga natutunan mo din, accomplishments and skills that you've acquired from those activities, kailangan i-relate mo siya doon sa, sa job that you're applying for. Yeah.
So, ano pa yung, any practical tips on how to write the job experience section? So, kung meron bang
Mm.
specific na verb yung na hinahanap yung mga recruitment, officer,
Mm.
ano ba yung mga terms, kung meron ka bang maibibigay na tips sa viewers natin
Mm.
today?
Yeah. Actually, hindi natin ine-encourage yung candidates natin to use, very as we have discussed earlier, do not make it too fancy even with the words. Okay, make it simple. I believe I have we can revisit our example. Um, Sorry. Here. Okay. As you can see here in this examples internship experience, ginamit niya lang yung term na designed and created process, facilitated and organized, involved in sourcing. So yung technique actually when presenting your experience is focused on your accomplishments, not the tasks. So for example, itong design and created process map for fellow interns in the talent acquisition. This shows na meron kang initiative. So, out of all those other interns, no, ikaw yung na-assign to create a process map. So that shows na meron kang edge doon sa other interns na kasabay mo. Okay? So, yon. You have to focus on the accomplishments, not just listing your skills. Yun naman yung secret doon. Just use, much simple words.
Ayan.
Yeah.
So, dito naman yung question. For the skills, ano daw yung laging hinahanap nowadays? Kung technical skills lang
Mm.
ba or merong mga soft skills na
Mm.
hinahanap, ganyan?
Yes. Yung top talaga is, culture fit and communication skills. Okay? So, if you don't have any experience yet, definitely what the recruiter will be looking for is, an excellence in communication. So yon, that's the most important. So not necessarily na sobrang ganda ng sound of English mo, no. It's about how you communicate with the recruiter, how you express yourself, how you express your thoughts. That's the most important. So yung laman ng mga sinasabi mo, it's not just about how you pronounce words, how you enunciate. It's not that. Yeah.
So, the simple the better ba? Yung sa
Yes.
resume.
Yes.
Dito naman yung question natin dito. How about po if you were a volunteer to an
Mm.
NG? Can we include that po sa extracurricular activity section? Or saan siya
Mm.
magfo-fall under?
Actually, pwede mo siya ilagay sa, um, pwede mo siyang gamit kasi work din siya eh. Though it's just volunteer, it's still a work experience. So you can put it under the work experience part of your resume.
Siguro follow-up question na rin na,
Mm.
any tips kung ano yung mga placeholder na ilalagay sa mga title? Like, okay ba na work experience or work history, employment history? So, meron ka bang tips kung ano yung pwede nating ilagay?
Okay. Pwede natin actually ilagay yung work experience. Yeah. Or internship details, work details. Siguro yun yung masasuggest ko. Yes.
In terms
Work
of
experience, actually, usually yun yung mas ginagamit natin.
work experience. So, yun po yung ano natin, pinaka-learnings natin for today's video. Kasi
Yes.
nakakita talaga yung mga title, di ba? And
Mm-mm.
in terms
Yes.
dun, example, achievement ba, award ba yung gagamitan? Ano ba yung mas okay pakinggan para sa recruitment side?
Mm. Achievements is much better, Roan. Yeah. Mm.
And in terms of achievement, as in pati ba yung kunwari, yung award mo nung elementary, pwede mo acceptable ba siya na ilagay? So, hanggang saan yung limit na pwedeng ilagay sa achievement part?
Okay. Since you are already a student, a college student, or a fresh graduate, pwede kang mag-focus na lang dun sa recent awards na na-receive mo during your college days. Hindi naman siya necessarily no na within the school premises lang. For example, if you've received an award outside school, pero within the same years then, within the last 4 years then, that's fine.
Dito naman,
Yeah.
tinanong ni Nicole if do we include the languages we know how to speak sa resume or CV?
Yes, yes, I recommend that. Nowadays, companies are actually looking for multilingual candidates. So, for example, if aside from English and Filipino, if you also know other languages, no, pwede mo siya ilagay sa resume mo. You can actually put it in the additional skills, and then you can also include certifications if you have.
Ayan, siguro ito, medyo personal question.
Mm.
As the recruitment marketing lead, ano yung una mong chine-check sa isang resume?
Sa akin talaga yung pagkakasunod-sunod ng ano. And then pero more on sa design kasi talaga ako, no. When it comes to that, medyo hindi enticing sa akin kapag sobrang colorful ng resume mo. Unless, of course, if you're applying for a graphic design role. But if not, yun nga yung nasuggest ko kanina, that you can just use 1 to 3 colors. Kasi yun yung una kong makikita. Kapag medyo masakit sa mata na colors like red, yung mga striking, baka mag-rainbow ka pa on your resume. So it's not very appealing to the eye. So yun yung una ko napapansin yung color. And of course, yung arrangement ng details. So yung the suggestion that I presented to you earlier, this is actually what we prefer. And this is also based on my research, no? So mga articles na chinek ko kanina. So if you're a fresh graduate or a student, it's better to highlight your educational background and then your internship background.
So itong template ba nito, magiging accessible ba 'to saan ba nila puwedeng mahanap 'to, sa website ba ng Korn Ferry para if ever gustong gumamit ng reference ng mga viewers natin, saan nila puwedeng mahanap?
Yeah, I can actually upload this on Google Drive and then have the link. I can actually put the link on maybe on our Prospel site, Roan, so that they
Okay,
can download it.
sige. So
Yes.
ayun, magiging accessible sa atin ito for later's
Yes.
use.
Yeah.
Yan. So ito naman, what's the common mistake in creating a resume? So kahit personal man or ano yung pinaka-common talaga na napapansin mo?
Well, yung napapansin ko talaga is marami pa rin yung candidates na hindi naglalagay ng contact details sa resume. So what's the use of sending your resume if there's no way for the recruiter to contact you? Okay. Makalimutan mo na yung mga iba, yung mga nasa dulong part ng resume mo, but not the contact details and of course the LinkedIn link or the email address that you have. Another thing is yung photo, which we have discussed earlier, Roan.
So ito naman na question, when including achievements, is it necessary to be alphabetical or by date?
I prefer that it should be by date. Yeah, so pwede kang actually mag-start sa most recent, pero hindi din masama if you'll start with the biggest achievement that you have, tapos arrange mo na lang siya pababa. So yeah, you can actually do it either way.
Tanong naman ni Patty, is it necessary to send a cover letter together with the resume or CV?
Well, most of the recruiters hindi naman na nila nire-require yung cover letter, no, but personally it's really good to see someone, kasi sobrang bihira na lang siya, so, a candidate that is attaching a cover letter. Okay, kasi the effort is there to introduce himself, and it's tailored to the company that he or she is applying for. So that's what's good about it. And then also singit ko lang din, Roan, for this question, no, there are candidates who are sending applications through email, walang nakasulat sa email at all, naka-attach lang yung CV. So, and then may mga times pa na walang subject yung email. Yung subject mo should be very catchy, that magmamadali yung recruiter i-open yung email niya. Pero if it's blank, baka isipin pa ni recruiter na spam or something. So make sure na you'll make an effort to write an email, address the recruiter if you know the name of the recruiter, and then yung subject line ng email. And then you can attach your resume.
So ano yung mga parang practical sample sa subject line na urgent, ganun ba yung mga agapan mo, charot. So
May nakita akong candidate actually na hey sir, then I'm looking for a job. So na-catch niya agad yung attention ko actually. It's a direct email, and then yung cover letter niya doon na lang niya nilagay sa body ng email. Wala naman tayong rules when it comes, you can just put as simple as applying for recruitment coordinator role, or interested to apply for, something like that. So hindi naman siya kailangan na sobrang haba din for the subject.
So, tanong naman ni Jermaine, in Korn
Mm.
Ferry po, was there an instance na ang intern for OJT ay ina-absorb po for employment? Usually,
Mm.
how does that happen?
Okay. Actually, yung internship program namin, na put on hold siya because of the pandemic, because the training program can only be done here in the office. And we will be implementing it this year. But yes, we actually, our goal actually is to absorb the interns. That's the goal. Yes.
So, tanong naman ni Cleo dito,
Mhm.
do we include the year of graduation if hindi pa graduate for internship resume daw?
Yes, yung assumed na date mo lang. So siguro you can, here yung sa example natin, we have expected graduation. Yes. So you can put it there.
So, ima-manifest mo na, di ba?
Yes, of course.
Graduate ka that year.
Oo.
So, dito naman, medyo personal din.
Hmm.
One thing na natutunan mo as a recruitment lead ngayon na sana alam mo na nung fresh grad ka pa lang?
Oh, actually, na sana mas maayos yung format ng resume ko. Struggle talaga to, Roan, when I was a fresh graduate, no? Sobrang struggle niya kasi even my classmates, when I saw my classmates resumes, no, hindi din ako masyadong nagandahan sa resumes nila masyado. And then lalo na yung sa akin. So magse-search ka sa Google, they're giving you a lot of tips na magulo. So yun, sana alam ko na to before, para sana mas naging maganda yung resume ko that time. So siguro yun yung isa. Yes.
Parang hindi ko alam kung magka-batch ba tayo, pero
Mm.
nung 2017 kasi ako graduate, parang that time wala pa rin masyadong
Yes.
resources, or hindi ko alam kung ano
Mm.
ba yung credible sources for that.
Yes,
Kaya
yes, that's true. 2017 ka, 2015 naman ako, so mas outdated pa yung curriculum ko before. So, yeah.
like
Ganun talaga.
maraming yang template pero hindi mo alam kung ano yung better. And
Yes,
yung
that's
usually na
correct.
lumalabas sa Google ay medyo western. So,
Mm. That's true.
and
Actually, until now, Roan, you'll see tips, no, sa online na encouraging you to write, for fresh graduates, no, encouraging you to put your photo, to put your objective. Pero there are researchers din talaga ngayon na suggesting to omit those parts na.
and ayan, plug ko na rin si
Mhm.
Prosper PH Philippines ay merong sample CV na pwedeng gamitin
There.
as reference. So, ayan yung link.
Yes.
Ilalagay lang natin dyan. Pero pwede nyo rin i-visit sa website natin. So, eto, meron pa tayong isang
Nice.
question. Eto. Best personal advice on how to make a good impression through resume.
This one is good. Okay. First, ako personal lang to, no, yung sa color talaga. Make it don't make it too vibrant, don't make it too fancy. Yun yung and ito pa, make sure that you don't have any grammatical errors in your resume. Punctuation, dapat i-check mo siya. Yun pa lang, magbibigay na siya ng magandang impression sa recruiter. Kasi recruiters nowadays are also looking for those candidates who are very keen to details and organized.
And siguro na rin para maka-make sure pwede rin silang gumamit ng yung mga free tool na Grammarly, ganyan. Para
Yes,
lang,
that's true, Roan. Yeah. Mm-mm.
and meron ka ba bang tools na masasuggest sa viewers natin sa paggawa ng resume nila?
Yes. The best tool that I can suggest is our Korn Ferry Advance. Um, Not just because I am promoting our tool, no, Roan, but even if I'm not working for Korn Ferry, I will still recommend this one. For fresh graduates and students, you can visit this site. So yung gagawin nyo lang, i-upload nyo lang yung resume nyo sa website and then i-analyze siya ng Korn Ferry Advance and they will be giving you tips on how to improve your resume. So this one is very helpful.
So, screenshot nyo lang yung sa screen nyo para makuha nyo yung QR code.
Yes. You can just type in Korn Ferry Advance on Google as well and lalabas agad yung website natin on top.
Ito, meron pa tayong question na yung sa extracurricular engagements, is it necessary to include the events, webinars, and workshops produced during the pandemic or iba po yung nakalagay doon?
Okay, let's go back to the example that we have. Actually, sa extracurricular engagements, it's more on your involvement no sa organization. So not necessarily you'll be putting all the seminars, the webinars. So i-weight nyo din yung pinaka-importanting engagements ninyo. So for example, yung sample natin dito, naging head siya ng research and production ng isang organization. He became a project head of a project and won first prize, mga ganon. And then another example, head din siya ng stage decoration committee. So yung mga ganon. But yung mga very short seminars na hindi siya ganong ka-relevant no sa job that you're applying for, pwede natin siyang alisin. So yung suggestion ko is you have to choose your top 3 to 5 doon sa extracurricular engagements mo. Yeah.
So, dito, tatanong natin if meron din tayong mga viewers na fresh grad na may experience na, and itong question na to ay applicable para sa kanila. How should I tackle any gaps I have in the employment history part of my resume?
Well, actually, it will be understandable, no? And it will be a plus factor as well to see that you were working while studying. So kung meron ka mang gaps doon, hindi siya magiging issue actually, kasi you're still a student, and and of course, don't forget to put in your resume that it's a part-time job. Okay? So that nagiging issue lang naman yung mga gaps natin, no, when we've already completed our degree and then nag-start na tayo mag-work. So yon, doon tayo maging prepared to explain kung paano tayo nagkaroon ng gaps in between jobs.
Paano naman yung mga fresh grad na nag-take ng gap year? So, magiging issue ba yon sa end ng recruitment team?
No. So for example, fresh graduate siya and then this candidate decided not to work immediately. Right, Roan? Yun yung question natin. Yes. Well, that's fine. Kasi for example, nagstay ka sa school no for years and maybe you just wanted to give yourself a time to breathe, to so baka nagbakasyon ka muna, alam mo yon, sinelebrate mo muna yung achievement mo na nag-graduate ka. That's fine. Okay, as long as naman meron kang valid reason why hindi ka nakapag-apply or nagkaroon ng job agad, that's fine.
So, dito naman sa question ni Kim, paano po pag walang extracurricular engagement? Should we remove it or keep it blank po?
Yes, you have to remove that part if wala kang extracurricular achievement, and you can put achievements instead or learnings acquired. Pwede nating ilagay yung learnings acquired. It's very impossible na wala kang ibang natutunan during your college days, no? So yung na-mention ko kanina yung mga skills na na-acquire mo kapag nag-organize ka ng events. So you have to put it there.
So, in line sa pag-a-apply natin, is it better to tailor fit your resume depending on the job you're applying for?
Yes, yes, it's a big yes. So as mentioned earlier, no, for every job, for every company that you're applying for, you have to create or to write a resume tailored to the role that you're applying for. So for example, yung role na in-applyan mo is recruitment coordinator, and this role is looking for a candidate that is more detail-oriented, organized. So you can use these keywords no and put it in your resume. Pwede mo siyang i-apply doon. Another thing, for example, this job is looking for a candidate who has background in recruitment process outsourcing. So pwede mong i-highlight yun dun sa internship background mo that yung internship mo is within the recruitment process outsourcing industry. So, yun. So, you have to make sure na before you apply for a job, you have the job description. You can message the recruiter and ask for a copy of the job description so that you can prepare a CV.
So,
All right.
ideally ba ay, okay. So,
Mhm.
ideally ba, for example, ako nung fresh grad ako, isang CV lang ako tapos must send ako, eh, parang, magse-send
Mhm.
ako sa mga opening. So,
Yeah.
ideally ba, mas okey na binabago ko yung resume based sa sinesendan ko kahit sabay-sabay akong nagse-send sa kanila, gano'n?
Yes, nowadays, Roan, hindi na possible kasi ganyan din ako before, Roan, nung hindi ko pa 'to alam 'no. Nagma-mass sending din ako ng resume. So, naka-BCC yung mga recruiters. Gano'n yung ginagawa ko before. But now, no, you have to tailor the body of the email, the content of your resume per company.
Kasi yun yung common mistake, eh. Personally sa'kin parang ang
Mm.
ine-edit ko lang ay yung cover letter, ta's
Mm.
ise-send ko yung isang inedit kong updated na
Mm.
resume. So, ideally
Yeah.
pala dapat depende sa ina-applyan.
Yes, kasi yung mga recruiters natin, they're using the applicant tracking system na or they're also using a technology to source for candidates. So, nagta-type in lang sila ng keywords pag nagbo-boolean source sila. And then kung yung keywords na yon wala siya dun sa resume mo, hindi lalabas yung resume mo dun sa research result nila. So, masasayang lang din yung submission mo ng resume, especially if sinubmit mo yung resume through a career portal. Yeah.
So, ito pa follow-up question,
Mhm.
kasi ngayon ko lang din na-realize, what if may dalawang roles na applicable for you sa isang company? So, does that mean na i-e-edit mo yung resume na ise-send mo dun sa both openings? Pero
No
same company?
naman. Mhm. I don't think so. Kapag medyo magkalapit naman yung roles 'no, puwede naman na hindi mo na i-edit or hindi ka na mag-create ng another, resume kasi same company lang naman sila. What you can do is include, the job titles of those two job titles doon sa cover letter mo or sa body ng email mo.
So, in line with that, so gaano ba natin kadalas dapat i-update yung resume?
Okay. So we have to update our resume every time we're applying for a role or for a job. Okay, kasi you have to update it per company or per role that you're applying for.
So,
Yeah.
siguro mga dalawang questions na lang tayo. Ayan,
Mm.
ito. Any advice sa mga fresh grads and college students na nagpe-prepare pa lang ng kanilang resume? Personal advice na
Mhm.
kung ano yung mga natutunan mo before as a fresh grad,
Mhm.
ta's ngayon recruitment lead ka na, anong
Okay.
mabibigay mo for them?
Yes. Actually, the best advice is first is to list down. So mag-draft ka muna. Minsan kasi when we're writing a resume, no, we tend to focus more on the design, on how it will look like, no. So we have to focus on the content first. So list down your achievements, list down the skills that you've acquired during your college days. So, data muna tayo. Less na muna natin before we think about the color, the design of or the format of the resume. So, yun lang yung mabibigay kong tip sa inyo. So, yun yung unahin natin before the design.
Kasi nakaka-fixate din talaga 'no, na parang ano kaya magiging
Mm.
itsura nung resume ko na dapat ba
Yes.
aesthetic gano'n? So,
Mm.
content muna talaga, 'di ba?
Yes, content muna.
So, last question natin. Name one thing na sana ay wait lang, mali yung na-flash natin. Kanina pa
Mhm.
yun, eh. In one word, how would you describe your fresh grad job hunting experience before, and why?
Hmm. Nung when I was applying year 2015, actually, just to give you a background, 2 days after my graduation, I already started my job. I believe my graduation day was Friday, and then I already started my job Monday. I actually applied for a job very early, you know, parang 2 months before my graduation, nag-start na ako mag-apply. So, actually, I already have a list of target companies, but I also applied for those companies na nasa second option ko or second, third option. No? So, why? Kasi gusto ko ma-experience yung interview. So, mas maraming interview na mapagdaanan nyo as a fresh graduate, mas better. Kasi, um, pero syempre, you're lucky if sa unang interview mo at gusto mo naman yung job or yung company na yun and then pumasa ka, that's actually better. What I'm saying is, if there's an opportunity for you to be interviewed, do not decline. Okay, just attend the interview, learn more about that company. Kahit sabihin natin na that company isn't your first choice, that's fine. Okay? Kasi iba pa rin yung nakikita mo lang sa website eh na ganito yung si company, ito yung reviews niya. Iba pa rin kapag naka-attend ka na ng interview with a recruiter and you, especially if you'll be able to visit the office kasi you'll be more immersed, you'll see more about the culture of the company. Mas makakatulong din that you'll be able to see the employees there. So, yun. Don't be afraid to attend interviews. So, hindi lang yung target companies natin yung ifo-focus natin no, for the interview. Sabihin natin na, these are just my target companies. So, dito lang ako mag-a-attend ng interviews. No. So, try to apply for, check out some other options as well. Yeah, that would be all, Ron.
So, in line doon, next week meron din tayong webinar and representative din from Korn Ferry yung magiging
Yes.
speaker natin. So, ang topic ay job interview tips and ayun, questions to ask during an interview. So, di ba, sobrang importante na magtatanong din tayo,
Yes.
lang yung interviewer yung magtatanong, di ba?
Yes, exactly. So just a bit of introduction. No, you'll be meeting my colleague Hannah Manapat. She's our consultant, training consultant in Korn Ferry, and this topic is very important because it's not just the recruiters who should be asking questions during the interview. Your questions matters more than the answers that you'll be providing to the recruiter. So please attend the webinar. Register now through the link here. Yeah.
And thank you so much for your time and effort to be here today. Then, sobrang dami talaga natin natutunan, no? Kahit ako personally, kahit nakailang work na ako, ang dami ko pa rin talaga natutunan. Kasi, syempre, di ba, ang dami nating available na resources, pero hindi mo
Yes.
alam kung ano yung pipiliin doon. And ano yung mas applicable sa recruitment team natin dito sa Philippines. So,
Yes. That's
uh,
true. Thank you. Thank you, Rowan, as well for having us here. And on behalf of Korn Ferry, and of course to the students, to everyone who are here, uh, please don't hesitate to message me on LinkedIn if you have any questions. Sa profile namin, sa profile site, meron tayong article doon about tips on how to write resume. So you can check that out as well.
So, don't forget na mag-sign up sa ating website,
Mm.
ph.prospel.com, and mababasa nyo pa further yung about sa Korn Ferry sa ating website then. And ayan, next Thursday ulit, meron tayo ulit representative from Korn Ferry. So, para ma-claim yung e-certificate of attendance nyo, ayan yung link para sa e-certificate nyo. And ayun, before we finally end this session, meron ka pa bang any last words? Meron ka bang gustong i-promote? Uh,
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Roan. So yun, I just want to say thank you to everyone, especially those who asked questions kasi hindi lang siya nakatulong sa inyo but to those other viewers and listeners as well. So one last thing, we would like to invite you to like and follow our social media sites. That's at Korn Ferry Manila. You'll be able to see our events, our job opportunities there, and a glimpse of how it is to work for Korn Ferry. So thank you so much, guys, and see you again next week with our new guest speaker, Hannah Manapat. Thank you.
So, meron lang in line na last question dito na nag-a-accept ba daw kayo ng OJT?
Yes, we will be accepting OJTs, but we are still confirming the dates. But you can start submitting your applications now. Yeah.
So, visit Prospel website and sa
Yes.
Korn then for openings. And that ends our Career Talk Thursdays, how to write a fresh grad or internship CV that will stand out. So thank you so much for joining us today. Once again, I'm your host, Roan. Follow us and stay tuned on our social media platforms for updates. So kita-kits ulit sa Thursday. Thank you and thank you
Thank
then.
you.
So
Thank you,
much.
Ron. Thank you, everyone. Bye.
Bye-bye.